I'm Amanda Leitner, and welcome to Rochester Rising, where we amplify the stories of Rochester entrepreneurs. Welcome to episode 217 of the podcast today. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes of your time with us today, whether this is your first time listening in or if you are a frequent listener to the podcast. Welcome to the Rochester Rising show. Here on the weekly Rochester Rising podcast, we tell stories of all types of entrepreneurs and business owners in Rochester, Minnesota. Those just starting their entrepreneurial journey to more established business owners. We release a new podcast every Wednesday and a short story based on the podcast each Thursday. We encourage you to check out both. You can find the podcast and the article on our website at rochesterrising.org. And you can also listen in to our weekly podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and really wherever else you like to listen in to your podcasts. Rochester Rising is the storytelling arm of Collider, which is a Rochester-based nonprofit that supports primarily early-stage entrepreneurs. Collider works toward the vision of zero barriers to entrepreneurship here in Rochester, Minnesota, for anyone with a strong business idea and a passion for what they're doing. So today on the podcast, I got the opportunity to chat with a mother and daughter team of Ginger and Kennis Knapp, owner and manager, respectively, of Ama La Vita Boutique. Ama La Vita, which means loving life in Italian, is a boutique located on Highway 52 here in Rochester. The store was originally called Blades to Ballet, which was a sportswear and figure skating and dance store, which Ginger purchased in 2008. During the COVID shutdowns, this family-owned business spent that time renovating the space and reopened its doors later in 2020 as Ama La Vita, focusing on women's fashion, home decor, dance, and ice skating. We have a really great podcast to share with you today where we get to talk with Ginger and Kennis more about Ama La Vita, the rebranding, what it's like to operate a business as a family, and much more. So stay tuned for the podcast today. So I got to record this podcast in person in the Conley Mass Downs building with Ginger and Kennis. So we recorded the podcast in a socially distanced manner, everyone wearing masks, which you can definitely tell that everyone is wearing masks in the podcast today. I still stand by that doing podcasts in person are the best way to go. Sometimes it's hard to connect on Zoom. This, unfortunately, is one of the last podcasts I got to record in the Conley Mass Downs building. I have one more coming up, but it will be the last one before we move our podcast recording studio to the Mayo Clinic Business Accelerator, which I'm sure will be just as exciting and just as great of a space, but it'll be sad to leave this podcast studio and room that we've used for the past 5 years, although it's undergone many different transformations, moving from the service elevator in the Conley Mass Downs building, which was super cool, to online during COVID, and then to a larger room so we could spread out when we were able to do in-person interviews again. So it's been quite a transition, but that chapter coming to an end, moving to a new space soon, which won't make any difference to the podcast, but it makes a difference just in the feel of it, I think, from the recording end. But in any case, change is good. So yeah, look forward to growing the podcast in our new location. All right, so yeah, without further ado, we'll jump right into the podcast today with Ginger and Kennis Knapp of Ama La Vita.
I'm Ginger Knapp, owner of Ama La Vita.
I'm Kennis Knapp, and I'm a manager at Ama La Vita. I'm a manager.
Well, I'm very grateful. It's like everyone does all the jobs, right? It's like you do
Everything possible.
Yeah. I always like to understand, like, what do you, besides, being involved in the business, what do you like to do in your spare time? What are some hobbies, interests? What makes you you?
Love to shop.
Love shopping, even though we own a store, but
That's
That's business too.
It is business. I like decorating. I love decorating my home. been working on that. We love traveling.
Oh yeah, we love to go to new places and like see what their culture they have. I don't know.
Just, yeah.
Like we just booked tickets to Arizona today and we've never been to Arizona. Like we love traveling.
Traveling, yes. I love traveling.
Trying new foods, like that you can have.
That I can have. I have a very strange allergy, so trying to find foods that I can have, and when I can find them, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And we sort of get stuck in a rut, or I do.
Yeah, I hear you. Arizona will be fun. Where are you going in Arizona?
Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. I was just there, well, not just there, in January last year with my husband in Phoenix, and we drove to Sedona, which next time I'm like, I just want to go to Sedona and stay there for like...
Really?
It was beautiful. It was so cool. Just like, it was a lot colder than I had thought it was
Okay.
going to be in Sedona in January, but, and it was super random, sitting at a bar with somebody who sat down next to us, and they ended up living down the road from my parents, who live in western Pennsylvania in like a tiny community of 5,000 people, and this person lived right down the street from
Oh
them.
my gosh.
So crazy.
So we met in a bar, and their kid went to my same high school. I mean, we were like 15 years apart, so there was no way, like, I didn't, but I knew who their family was. It was just so weird. A random bar in Sedona, like,
Oh my gosh.
That's
probably more than
wild.
1,500 miles away.
And then you run into them.
And then I run into them. I was like texting my mom, like, "Do you know this person?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No,
Oh
they're
my
here."
She knew it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the world is very small.
Yes, it is.
So on that note, are you? I think you both are. You're from Rochester, but are you? Did you grow up? Are you both from the community here? And if not, what kind of brought you to Rochester?
I have lived here, my mom moved here when I was 6, when her and my dad were going through a divorce, and she chose Rochester because of her MS, and her doctor was here. She had 3 cities, and Rochester won. So I've lived here most of my life. My stepdad worked for IBM, so we moved to St. Louis and Kansas City, but came back, and my husband's from here, and we moved away for a short period of time to Holland, Michigan, but we came back, and
I was born and raised here, so I never moved out. Never went to a different college out of here either, so.
So I wanted to dive into the business then. So I know that you transitioned from something different to what you are now, but can you talk about what is Ama La Vita? What is the business? And then when someone goes there, what kind of experience do you want them to have in the store?
Ama La Vita was, when we were closed March through end of May, we had to make some decisions there. Are we gonna stay open? My lease was up the end of September. We could just shut it down and be done with this, because who knew how long this was all gonna last? Like, everything kept getting extended and extended. But the one thing that was getting us through the shutdown was we had just started bringing in women's fashion, probably 18 months prior.
Yeah, and just a little bit, not much.
Not much, so, and that's what was selling. So for people to buy from Blades to Ballet, women's fashion, you're not gonna go look for that. And we wanna be able to grow it more to online. We wanna keep our brick and mortar, but we also wanna grow it online. So the name change came in effect, and so we're now selling women's clothing, home decor. We're still carrying our dance and our skates, ice skating and that. We did get rid of our gymnastics, but that wasn't selling.
That's been at declines for like 5 years now, so.
Yep. So Ama La Vita was born. It means love life in Italian, and my parents have taught me to love life and embrace it, and so that's how we came up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Blades to Ballet, that was how it originally started. Did that start in 2000? That was around for a while, right?
Since 1986.
Okay. So what was the story with Blades to Ballet? How did that come about in the community? How did your family get involved?
So Chris Fisher started it. She was also a figure skating coach with the Rochester Figure Skating Club. And she started selling skates and dance. And we purchased it in 2008. She was going to shut the store down. Nobody was interested in buying it. I saw the advertisement for it in the skating program that she was actually going to close it.
Well, because I was a figure skater and a dancer too at the time.
Yes, very heavily
So,
involved in both
yeah.
you were. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we can't lose Blades to Ballet. And I was looking for something part-time to do. So I talked to my husband and we started meeting with Chris. And she's like, yeah, you can do it part-time. You can't do it part-time. So we bought it in 2008. Really bad timing with the recession.
But we made it through.
We made it through, lots of rebuilding, just being there, rebuilding the business and that. We made it through the recession and yeah, I just never redid things. I kept wanting to rip out the carpet and do all these things that I love to do, and my husband kept saying, we can't do that without being shut down for a little bit.
We never understood that. We're like, no, we can do it. We'll just shut down for the weekend. It's fine.
We can get the carpet ripped out.
We learned our lesson.
That's something I would think too. I mean, it'd take an hour, right?
That's what we thought.
Construction manager at Mayo, so I know.
He knows what he's
So I
talking
told
about.
him, let's just rip everything up. He's like, yeah, right, no. So we never did the remodeling that I wanted to do. I wanted to do the updating and all that in the store. We just never did it. And when we were shut down, that gave us the opportunity to especially when he called me and told me the end of April that he was going to be furloughed when Mayo started doing that. And I said, can you please ask to be the first one in your group, because they were splitting them up in his group how they were doing it. And it was going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, 2 3-week sessions. And he asked, and he was able to do the first one, because we wanted to be able to reopen once, Governor Walz gave us the okay to reopen. So we started ripping apart.
So what was that like?
Oh my God.
It was horrible.
Because this was when you were rebranding from Blades to Ballet to Ama La Vita during April during the pandemic.
Right, well, we did the whole remodel first.
Okay,
But
yeah.
during that month, I was like, we really need to change the name. She's like, everyone knows this says Blades to Ballet. But when we started talking, to Trisha, our rebrand person who helped us with our rebrand, she was like, if you're doing it, this is now's the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we did it, and we knew what we were naming it back in May, but did not release the name till August.
Okay.
But so my husband did most of the work. His brother helped some. We did a lot of the work. My oldest daughter also helped quite a bit. She was furloughed from Mayo for 3 months, was she?
Yeah,
I think it was 2 or 3 months. So she helped. So it was a lot of hands-on. The ripping the carpet up was disgusting as can be, and I never knew how bad it would be.
it's awful.
So most of the work was done by us, but then trying to find things to furnish it, because I just knew going back from the pandemic, or once we were able to reopen, we had cloth, a couch, and all that stuff. Is like, okay, do we really want to be dealing with that during this? So I came in one day and said, we're getting rid of all this stuff, and she was so happy. It was like all these furnishings, and I'm just like, I'm done. We're getting rid of it. She goes, really?
I was so happy. I was taking pictures that night. I was on Facebook Marketplace. People were driving from Owatonna at 10 p.m. at night to meet us to pick it up. I'm go ahead, here you go. It worked out.
It worked out. So Target's the one who really helped with
Furnishing needed.
furnishing benches and things like that. We drove to.
We woke up one morning at 5 a.m., got ready, and drove to the cities, and we went to 13 Targets that day.
To find the
Find
There
these
was
benches
this,
and
a
stuff.
certain bench that we liked, but only a Target would only carry 1 or 2 maybe.
Right. So it was the construction, the rebranding was a total family
It was a total
bonding
family.
project.
Oh my gosh, and IKEA trying to get the,
Oh yeah, because our front desk is like half.
half IKEA, but then the other part's got like an old door front, and that my husband built the countertop. It's a wood-based butcher block looking countertop. He did all that, but to sort the drawers and all that, that was IKEA. IKEA during the pandemic is awful.
Yeah, I would bet. Even
I don't
probably
care for
Target.
IKEA anyhow, but
Yeah.
because it's always, I don't know, I get lost in there, but trying to do that, and then they were out of stuff, and yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
We got through it. It took us till he started building the desk in May. That desk did not get finished until September finally, like the last few pieces of it, because they were just out of it. What we needed. And so like when the girls came back to work, they were like using iPads, so they felt like they were at Apple stores.
Oh yeah,
Checking
sure.
people out 'cause
They would
had
like
no
walk
front desk.
around. People would like walk up front and be like, wait, where's your front counter? We're like, oh, it's in the process of getting like made right now. So just, I'll check you out on our iPad here on this chair.
Yeah, but yeah, he's built all the racks that we have now. He's done all of that, so I like came up with the ideas and showed him what I wanted.
That's super cool. Huge undertaking, huge project.
Very huge.
So you did the rebranding mainly because you saw the need to shift to women's apparel, women's clothing.
Yeah.
Did it feel? You said you kind of moved forward with it. How did you feel leaving the name Blades de Ballet? Like, did you second guess it, or you like, we just got to go ahead? What was that kind of? What were you thinking at that point?
This is sound really bad, but I never liked the name Blades to Ballet.
Never.
I never liked
It's
it.
very clear what it is, I will say, but yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't. It wasn't mine. And I know we bought the store back in 2008, but it never felt like my store until now. If that makes any sense.
I think that makes complete sense. I mean, you've basically made it your own, something that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels so good now. It's like I walk in, it's mine. It's totally redone. When we ripped out that old checkout corner in Blades to Ballet, it felt so good to be out of that corner where it was. Like we relaid out the whole floor, and it was just a good feeling.
I hated that counter.
So now that it's Ama La Vita, do you find that it's a lot of the same customers as Blades de Ballet, or are they different? Are they more
We've grown.
Yeah.
Yes.
We definitely we'll still have the same skating and dance people, if not new ones. But then the women's fashion,
Yeah.
it's all new people.
It's new people, which is exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine. So talk about this a little bit, and Kennis, it sounds like you've grown up in retail. Ginger, what was kind of your experience with retail prior to Blades de Ballet? How did you kind of get your feet wet?
I have a degree in fashion merchandising.
Okay.
So it seemed like the perfect fit when Chris was selling the store. I'm just like, well, I have a degree in fashion merchandising. I worked at Dayton's, so this is really dating myself, when it was Dayton's back out in Apache Mall. So that was a long time ago. I worked in the merchandising department there. I worked at Sears at Ridgedale in display areas. I've done other merchandising for like Revlon and that. I go to different Target, Walmarts, things like that to do the merchandising there for them. So I've grown up doing that. Or not grown up, but my adult years. So you're still growing, right?
Definitely, always.
always worth change. So yeah, I had done most of my time. I always did retail. I could never work in a restaurant. That sounds horrible. I can't work in a restaurant, so I always did retail. I love retail. You did. You worked in a restaurant, but she didn't come work for me right away. Well, she did. From when we bought it at the age of 11, she knew how to work that register. Like she could bring people up, and people would look at her like.
They're like, is this right? And I'm like, yes.
Like she knew that system, so. But
I think retail is probably the only job I have not had somehow. Done the restaurant, and yeah, that's hard. I
Yeah.
do not. Yeah, I have so much appreciation for people who do that. It's hard work.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll ask you. This is a family business. How do you guys work together as a family? What is that like?
We get along most of the time.
We get along, but there's days where for 5 minutes she tells me something and then it's just us bickering back and forth. One of the girls is working, just ignores us now. They're just used to it. And then we're fine right after that.
Yeah.
But we get along.
We get along great, and we spend a lot of time outside of work together too. So we're together all the time.
It's normal to have your mom as your best friend, right?
Yeah. So yeah, but my oldest daughter still works. I mean, when she's not working at Ballet, she'll come and help out or do whatever, but my middle daughter, I can never.
She's gotten fired 6 times.
6? I think.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that about her, but no, she doesn't.
She does.
She's not what I can work with.
You're just not a fit for retail business like that.
Not at all.
We were doing inventory
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago, and we walk into the shoe room and she's passed out sleeping. We're like, what are you doing?
She's tired, trying to take a nap. The inventory's boring.
Yeah, I could see where that would be boring, but
So she's not one to work in the family business.
A lot of customers will come in, they'll know me and Taylor, and then they're like, oh, you have a middle daughter? What? Yeah, I have a middle sister, it's fine.
Yeah.
No one knows her.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Definitely. We were talking about before we started, I feel like with Ama La Vita, you have a very strong voice and communication with the customer using social media, and I think that's really hard for some people to do, especially in a very real way, which I feel like you've achieved. Can you talk about how you connect with people through social media to talk about your business, and what are some ways that's been successful for you all in growing the rebranding and connecting with those new people?
Do you want to say
What?
when we started? So when everything was shut down, I said, we're just going to have to start going on Instagram. We need to be out there talking and that. And she's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I'm like, we have to. If we're going to keep our doors open or have the chance. So I started going on. And I think you listened to me for a couple days.
Yeah.
You're like, I can do this. And she then started getting on there too. So we're both on there.
Yeah.
And just being,
People just when I talk in a mirror about clothes. I don't know. And it took me how many years to finally do that? I was like, I can't do that. No. I see people do it all the time on my social media. I'm like, I did that though.
I know, you just gotta put yourself out there. It was hard.
It was really hard. Yeah. But I think it's just the consistency of showing up every single day, or trying to show up every single day and being real with people and this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And showing us and family too, so that way people can also connect, customers can connect with us oh yeah, this happened, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been hard, but
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do though, to open yourself up to display a little bit of your personal life. But I agree with you, people like to see that.
Yeah.
Especially I feel like I know a little bit about you at least before you even walk in the door.
Yeah.
You walk in to your store, you know a little bit about you. And
yeah, definitely.
So I'm actually surprised to hear you say that you were hesitant about it, because I feel like you do such a good job at it.
I go out there all the time now. I don't care. This is what's going on.
But it seems very natural. You just get how to connect with people, and
Yeah.
I feel as a whole you figured out, like you were saying, Ginger, Blades of Ballet maybe didn't feel like you, but it seems like this really feels like you.
Yep.
I mean, you guys are, wearing the clothes, on the website, and I think that is so important, because it really connects
Yep.
to people.
And I want everything that we bring in, it's stuff that we like or we've seen, we've touched. It's stuff that we want in the store because we personally like it.
Yeah. And that's probably why we go to market all the time. So we can make sure we're bringing in good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
So what's it been like to kind of navigate the last year or so of the business, and what do you, now things you can tell things are getting a little better, like people feel more comfortable. So what are your kind of thoughts for this year in the business and moving into 2021?
I'm excited for 2021 if everything plays out.
hopefully.
Hopefully correctly. I don't know, I shouldn't say it that way. We definitely are running out of room. Does that make sense? Where we're trying to,
Mm-hmm.
we're being very careful how we're placing stuff, using this floor space we have right now, redeveloping it,
Yeah.
what's the right words?
Remerchandise. I don't know. That's what it is.
Remerchandising. It's getting harder and harder because we're getting more out of losing space. But we are in the same space. We definitely will be there until
Well, you signed a lease for 3 years, so
3 years in September. I signed it, so we're definitely there in that spot.
we're definitely growing out of it, though.
Mhm.
It's getting hard.
It's a good problem to have, though.
It is a good problem
yeah.
to have. We'd like to have more events going forward at the store, which was hard to do. I was really cautious about it this past year. She pushed me for the grand opening, grand opening.
So we have to do something. She's
Mhm.
like, no. And I was like, no, we gotta do something. But
And we did it, and it was
great.
a great day. I'm thankful it was really nice weather that
Mhm.
day, because that was in September, which I was a little worried about, just, everybody, how many people, how do you, and everything just worked out perfectly. It was good. We had the duck truck, blue duck truck, the duck
Yeah.
truck there, and it was a good day. And the front door was just left open so people didn't have to touch it or anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we want to have more events. We had one last weekend, we did it very short notice.
Yeah, we did a little Valentine's Day event, which was fun. We made like homemade Valentines for customers, and it was a good day.
It was.
We had candy, and yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else.
I don't know, we want more events, what else do we want to do?
We were trying to work on an app for our store.
Yes, that is in the progress. It's just getting all of that. We're gonna be more online. We have somebody who's been with the store since before I owned it. She does a lot of my accounting stuff and my bill paying and just orders for dance in the skates. We do a lot of the fashion order. We do most of the fashion ordering. So we do all of it.
We do all of
We
it.
do all of it. Why am I even questioning that? But she will be back. This is so exciting to us. 11 and a half months later, she is going to be back on her regular schedule, March 1st. And I can't wait. So that will free up some time where we can get more stuff online.
Yeah.
To make sure we're trying to get the whole store online,
Okay.
which is a huge undertaking.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people definitely want to still go in stores, but they even still want to shop locally but online. If that
Yes.
makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. We have a lot of people that will message us wanting this or that. I saw this, I want.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, can I do curbside? Or like, hey, could you deliver it? 'Cause we'll do free delivery in Rochester because of the pandemic. So
Yep.
Yeah. At least you had online prior, right? So it wasn't a huge undertaking, but probably not everything was probably not.
We didn't have everything. We had
Yeah.
basically, it was our dance
well, we
shoes.
switched our website then.
Oh yeah, we had a year prior to the pandemic, we had switched our POS system.
Oh.
Which, thank goodness we did that. Otherwise, there was no way we could have done everything that we had done.
Right, because that took a couple months changing the whole POS system.
Sure.
But yeah, so then we were getting more and more online. But we did, basically it was our dance shoes that was online
Mhm.
when the pandemic hit. And now we're just trying to get more stuff online. And it's getting there, and as of March 1st, we'll have more time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to our
Hi, Kay will be back. I am so excited. Like, she's been working 2 days a week right now, and I'll have her 4 days a week, which will help a lot, so.
Cool. So my last question for you both. I feel like we already talked about this a little bit, but you could be doing a lot of other things, but you're running this business. Why? What keeps you coming back? Why do you love running the shop, doing this work? What draws you to do this every day?
I love clothes.
That's what I was gonna say.
And that's totally like you found, that's your passion,
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
why. I love clothes. I love shopping. I can sit there and scroll through my wholesale vendors and that. At night, I'll do that in my spare time. See what's coming out for the, fall. Because we're buying for fall now.
Yeah.
So we'll start looking through that. Getting those in. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
that new stuff all the time.
Like, I love putting outfits together. I love shopping. I love clothes. And social media is just like an added bonus because I like doing social media. But
I think that's what does it.
yeah.
It's fun. It keeps, I don't know. It's
I don't know what else I
new.
would be doing right now, really.
I don't know if you do either. I don't know. No, I really don't, because we've always loved shopping. And this, going to market, when we do that, which is like about every 3 months or so, we go to market. We just got back from Atlanta,
Well, fun.
and we were in Dallas 2 weeks prior to that for a market too, so it's shopping at a whole new level.
It's like when you're shopping for other customers, but stuff that you like still. And
But it's really fun when you see something, you're like, oh, it totally makes you think of that customer.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, we do that a lot.
But yeah, I think that's what keeps me coming back. It's new stuff. It's fun, and I love the interaction with the customers and getting to know them. And I love that part of it.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. You find something that you love and enjoy doing, and then when you don't know what else you'd be doing, that means you found the right thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what I would be doing.
I don't know.
If I walk into a hospital and pass out, I don't like the smell. So here I am.
Every once in a while, I keep thinking I should go back or go get my realtor license.
That's
but
probably.
That's fine. And who knows? Maybe I'll do that too. I don't know, but I've always wanted to do it. I just never have.
Well, that was my last question for you. I'll maybe ask you for any final thoughts, and where can people find you online and in person?
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us at Hillcrest Shopping Center, right in the middle between Charlie's and Godfather's. And online at shopamallavita.com, or on Instagram, shop_amalavita.com, or amalavita, no.com.
Yeah, that's where they can find us.
I don't know if there's anything else.
And you can always message us or anything like that on Instagram, Facebook. Our phones are always near us.
If you message us at like 10 p.m., we'll answer.
Team no sleep. No, I'm kidding.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it, and sharing your journey and conversation. So thanks so much for taking time.
Yes, and thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Thanks so much to Ginger and Kennis for sharing their story with us today. It was so fun to chat with them and learn more about their journey, their business, and how they're doing this together as a family. So you can learn more about Ama La Vita through the links in our show notes. So that's a wrap for us at the podcast today. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to learn more about the stories and journeys of entrepreneurs here in Rochester, Minnesota. It's a huge help to us if you like this podcast so that others can find it, and make sure that you're subscribed. We'll be back with a brand new episode next Wednesday.